Hey, it's Virgo. I'm here with a video for Leo compatibility. All right. So first, I just want to give a little disclaimer. I have 4 tattoos, but this is a fake tattoo. So you see it a little fading a little bit. That is why. All right. So I just wanted to experiment a little bit and see, like, if I put it here, what it would look like. So, all right. Now enough about me. Let's get to the actual reason why you clicked on this video. All right. So Leo compatibility. All right, so I'm going to start with the first sign of the zodiac, Leo and Aries, okay? So first of all, Leo, before I even get to that, Leo, you're ruled by the sun. Leo, you're a fixed sign versus cardinal or mutable. So fixed, like knowing where you stand, you know, being very, having your convictions be very grounded and very secure in your own thought process. Ruled by the sun, so light, exerting, attention, energy. So Leo and Aries, how does that coupling work? So they're both fire signs, and what you have to understand is fire will understand fire. That does not mean it's the best placement for them. Just like I'm an earth sign and I understand earth. I understand earth. I'm tolerant of earth. I'm accepting of earth. So fire and fire are going to be accepting of each other. Now, when you get into the relationship aspect, you have to understand what each sign embodies. So Leo is the sun, but Leo also is included with like idea of like children and playfulness. It doesn't mean you have to have children if you're a Leo, but a lot of Leos relate to children very easily. Aries can as well. So if you're a family dynamic, you know, these people might initially be drawn to each other if they both like children, or they're very playful or things like that. Doesn't mean you have to have children. I'm just saying that's a common thing. And, you know, some people are just really good with their nieces and nephews, or they like, you know, they teach children, or whatever the situation is. Leo energy and Aries energy is very playful. So there might be, you know, at a party or at an event, Aries and Leo can get along very well. Okay, they can get along. Fire gets along very well because they're kind of extroverts. And so, but there could be competing interests there. So Aries is the first sign. So they're the sign of self-awareness. And by self-awareness, some people could view that as selfish, and some people can view Leo as sometimes self-centered. And that, basically the reason it's that is because Aries is the first sign, so they're going to think of themselves first. Doesn't mean they don't care about anyone else. They can be very passionate, and Leo can be very passionate and very loyal. And both of these signs can be loyal, but sometimes I think even with their loyalty, there's this clashing there, where personality-wise, there's too much energy, there's too much ego, because Aries is going to be like self, and Aries thinks they know how to do things the best. Aries is concerned with how things are done, the physical, how's this done, the action. And Leo is very generous, but also at the same time can be self-involved. Like Leo wants to know, like, what about me? What about me? Look at me. And I'm not, you know, I say this all the time. I love Leo energy. I say this all the time. I say this in the Virgo video. I have Leo in 2 of my placements. You know, my dad was a Leo. I love Leo energy. But Leo, if they're not happy, can become they feel like, you know, let down. They feel taken advantage of. They feel people are not grateful for them. And Leo's like, I do all these things for people. I don't understand why you wouldn't. They can be very hurt. And so Aries is not very emotional. Aries might not tend to Leo's ego or Leo's feelings the way they may want. So I think when it comes to clashing, you know how some signs they can have an argument and still be cool with each other. They can have an argument and one of the people in the relationship is more sensitive or more caring, or, you know, has that ability to bring it back together. Leo and Aries, it's going to be like hard to see who's going to be the bigger person, is what I'm trying to say. And so unless there were other placements that balance that stuff out, I think as a relationship aspect, Aries and Leo can have a lot of conflicts. And yes, they might get along really well. I said this about Sagittarius and Aries too. On the surface, at a party, at an event, they will match energy. They're going to be the extroverts, right? But at the same time, Aries doesn't care what people think, and Leo does. And that can also be a difference in lifestyle, okay? And so I think as together, sorry if I'm saying I'm not trying to say a lot of negative things. I just think, like, together, I don't think it's the best pairing. But again, I would look at the person's whole chart, because maybe in their chart they have a lot of another sign, and that works well with Leo. Maybe, right? Leo and Taurus. So Leo and Taurus are both fixed signs. They are 3 signs apart, and this is called a square. Okay, in astrology, square is more challenging because Leo is fire and Taurus is earth. And Taurus is ruled by Venus and Leo is ruled by the sun. So Venus is more low-key, but it's about the romance and the love and the possessions. And Venus is more so, now we're heading to more deeper planets. You see what I'm saying? once the further we get away from the sun. So, you know, Taurus and Leo, I though think they can work together well. I think money-wise, they both value money and possessions. Now, Leo more so in like they'll have the latest things because they like to show what they have. And I feel like Taurus can do the same thing. Taurus can be a little more stingy with their money. But Taurus can give a lot to people they care about. Taurus and Leo both like to show what they have. Leo more so, you know, look at me, or look at what I have, you know, look at what I have, this is great. Taurus more so, look at what I earned, okay? And so there can be similarities there in lifestyle if these two people like to build together, or, you know, have a household, or whatever the case may be. Taurus is okay with Leo having the stage. Taurus is okay with letting Leo shine a little bit more than them. It's not a competition, whereas Leo might feel like Aries is competing with them. Or Leo might feel like a power struggle with Scorpio, or ego thing with Scorpio. I think that Taurus and Leo can work because, you know, now they might appreciate that each other holds their ground. You know, they can appreciate that. They can appreciate that, you know, one another is able to not easily be swayed. They're fixed signs. Fixed fire. I'm fixed fire Leo. I know what I'm doing is right. I feel very strong about my convictions. Fixed earth. This is what I did. This is my foundation. I'm not changing what I believe. Also, Taurus is linked to values and beliefs. And Taurus is more like practical. What works, what makes sense. Leo can be over the top. Leo likes to do everything big. Everything's got to be big, grandiose, okay. Like, Taurus sometimes can be like, okay, like, we don't need to do all that. So there can be differences in regard to like that type of thing with regards to lifestyle, okay. But in general, I think that personality-wise, this coupling can work. You know, I don't really see. Yes, there can be challenges. There's challenges to everything, but I think Taurus and Leo will let each other do what they need to do. Leo will appreciate that Taurus can be mellow. Leo will appreciate their patience. Of all the fire signs, Leo is the most patient. Sorry, my battery just was giving me a little warning. All right. Of all the fire signs, Leo is the most patient, even though they're the sun. They're born by the sun. They exert energy. Aries is impulsive, and Sagittarius is impulsive too, because that's mutable fire. So, you know, fixed fire has direction, and fixed earth has foundation. And I think this couple can work really well in regards to building together, having some type of thing, in regards to like how to make something come together, especially even in like a work environment or something like that. So in general, I think Taurus and Leo. Okay. All right. So next, Gemini and Leo. Now, okay, mutable air. Fixed fire. They both like to be around people. So, you know, these are not homebodies. They both like to be around people. You know, Gemini is more about ideas. I feel like Leo loves the experience. Fire loves the experience. Fire likes to do. Gemini wants to talk about everything. Gemini wants everything. Now, again, if you're Leo, but you have Gemini placements, this is going to be easier for you to vibe with a Gemini, right? But Gemini wants to talk. They're curious. They want to know about people. They want to know about things. They, you know, even though they're social butterflies, Gemini likes to, there's other intellectual things they like to read. They like to explore ideas and information. And as much as Gemini can kind of be all over the place, that's really what they want. And Leo might not always understand that. I think Leo and Gemini can get along really well. Let me try to look at my notes that I have. They can get along very well on the surface, but I think it's hard to figure each other out. It's hard to tap into each other's motivation, because Leo might see a Gemini like, oh, you're cool like me, oh, you like to hang out. But Gemini then's like, okay, let's watch this documentary and discuss it. Let's go to this festival. And like, Leo wants to also feel in their element. As much as people might say like Leo likes fun, yes they do, but they also like to be in their element. So you'll see a lot of Leos, they like their own crew, they like their own people. They kind of want to be the star of the show a little bit, which is nothing. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. I think Leo energy is fun because they want everyone to be included, and they'll make sure nothing's boring. And Leo and Gemini, that's what I said, they're gonna find each other, you know, they're gonna attract each other because they don't view each other as boring. You know, they're very you know, and I think that Gemini and Leo as in general as signs are very accepting. Like, they don't look, well, the ones I know, they don't really necessarily look down on people. They try to invite people in, okay? And so I think that Leo and Gemini can work really well together, you know, as far as like lifestyle and fun. If it's a couple that likes to go out, I think there can be issues because Gemini wants to be mentally stimulated a lot more than they might seem at first. And if Leo was more about going out and Leo was about just having fun and Leo was just about like, hey, or hobbies, and Leo can be very creative and so can Gemini with hobbies and using the mind, but Leo is more so making things or creative things or drawing or you know, creative ventures or art, being an artist or musician or something. Not all Leos are like this, but I know a lot of Leos who are. So I think they can relate on that level, but I think that's the stuff that'll get Gemini more interested in Leo. Leo, if you're interested in Gemini, you have to show that Gemini there's something unique about you, because that's what Gemini likes. They're ruled by Mercury, the mind. So I think if that's the relationship angle that you're looking for, Leo, show them your creative side, because I feel like Leos sometimes are trying to always show people how fun they are, and you know, and you're not looking, you know, you have so much depth that you could be exploring as well. But I think a Gemini and Leo in general, I think it's a good placement. I think that there can be a lack sometimes of like the pure passionate love aspect, because you're dealing now with fire and air. You don't have that water or that earth grounding. But in general, I think based on their energy, Leo and Gemini can work well. Next. Okay, except for Gemini, Cancer and Leo. So these are neighbors, okay? These are neighbors. And with neighbors, it can go either way. You know, you have neighbors, right? You have neighbors. You either love them or you hate them. You either love them or you hate them. So, okay, I'm trying not to make this video that long, okay? Let me stop. All right, so Leo and Cancer. So, you know, Cancer is ruled by the moon and it's more emotional and, you know, and it's intuitive and it's deep feelings, deep feelings. And Leo and Cancer, I feel like sometimes in general, as you know, just looking at the surface of it all, I feel like Leo always doesn't get to the depth or the true emotional impact of things. Okay, so a Cancer person might view Leo as too open. You're ruled by the sun, Leo, you're too open. And so while that'll be okay for a Gemini, a Cancer person needs more assurance. They need to feel more secure. They need to feel emotionally secure. They need to feel financially secure. Also, you two might have very different ideas about finances and what to spend money on. Cancer is very domestic. Many Cancers appreciate the home dynamic. They like the home dynamic. And Leo, you know, Leo might be very inviting. They want all their friends over, and Cancer might like that, or sometimes they won't, because they'll be like, well, you know, I'm really secure. It's just about my family. Like, I don't know why you have all your friends over all the time. You know, it's also a cardinal sign. So, you know, the main thing with the Cancer is about this love and this emotional attachment and this nurturing. But Leo is very nurturing and generous. And I think that on that level, Leo and Cancer will relate. Because Leo will be generous to who they care about, and Cancer has that natural, a lot of Cancer has that natural need for emotion. Now, could you have the negative side of Cancer where they're too needy and they're too clingy? Yes, but I don't think Leo would have an issue with that. I think that like Leo wants to feel needed. I think Leo likes that. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel that you care about them, that you need them. They like that. So I think in general, I just told you like the negatives that can happen with Leo and Cancer is more so lifestyle. But I think as far as balancing each other's emotional needs and what drives them, I think that it's a relationship that can work. It can work. I don't think it's not, like I said Aries and Leo, I don't think is the best pairing. Again, you have to look at the whole chart. But I think that Cancer and Leo is not a bad match. I think it can work. I think they'll tolerate each other, you know. All right, next, Virgo and Leo. So I said this in my other video. I know this energy very well. I have Leo placements, and my parents were a Leo-Virgo pairing. So, on the surface, they do not seem like they click. They, you know, it's not like an instant. Like I said before, some of the fire instantly will be like, hey, we have something in common. That does not mean it's a long-stay relationship. So Leo and Virgo. So Virgo is more of an introverted sign. Leo is extroverted. So at face value, it's like, I don't know how this is going to work. And it's ruled by Mercury, Virgo is. So at first it might look like they're not, because they don't have the same interests necessarily. But at the same time, I feel that Virgo, you know, as a sign of service, Virgo does like to care for others. And Leo wants to feel that they're cared for. So Leo has this balancing act of like, love me, feed me affection, but I will also do the same for you. I will be very passionate. And Virgo needs that. I think a lot of times people view Virgo as like, oh, they're earth sign. You know, they're all about, you know, order and timeliness. And Virgo, okay, can we take it off of that for a second and look about like emotionally? All signs have emotions and needs, okay? So I think that Virgo needs more. And they'll respond to that, but you have to draw it out of them. Whereas Cancer is similar to Virgo in that aspect, but Cancer is a water sign, so already that emotional stuff is going to come a lot easier. And I think Leo giving the attention to the Virgo, Leo, you know, being very supportive of the Virgo, and Leo being very, you know, reciprocal in ways can help. Now, as far as money goes, it could be differences in the lifestyle, because Leo likes activities that they're interested in and they want to do these different things, and Virgo does as well. Virgo's hobbies and tasks, but Virgo might be more practical with spending money. Not all Virgos though. You got to look at the whole chart. If they have like Sagittarius and Leo, they might not be as good to save money, so there could be some similarities there. But I think like Virgo and Leo are an unsuspecting couple that can work. And I think it's because of the internal needs that they have that other signs might not tap into. Like a Virgo might, a Capricorn might not be able to tap into that need for attention that Virgo has. But Leo is once fun, and Leo's going to make that Virgo have fun. And I think that as a couple, I think it can work. There are some differences. You know, Virgo might say, hey, it's your birthday, let's have an intimate dinner at home, or let's go to your favorite restaurant. Leo's like, I want a party. Now remember, Virgo might be more responsive to Leo's lead, because Leo just has a different energy about how they get things out of people or how they get things done. So I think that Leo and Virgo can be an unsuspecting couple that works actually well together, that can work really well together as long as they understand each other's differences and they balance them out. All right, now let's move on. Libra and Leo. All right, let me see if I have any notes about this coupling here, because Libra, these are two signs apart. Libra is Venus, is ruled by Venus, and Venus is romance and possessions, and you know, I just said that already with Taurus, but it's different. Okay, it's different than Leo and Taurus, because Libra and Leo both are going to understand each other's need for socialization and understand each other's appreciation for other people. And so these are people that take others into consideration, especially Libra. Libra will love, I think a lot of Libras like love or the Leo energy, because Libra wants that harmony as well. And Libra it will allow Leo to kind of take center stage. And Libra wants partnership. And Leo, it's not a dominating, how do I say this? It's the sun, but I don't think Leo necessarily is this always dominant energy that, you know, people might think. It's the sun. It's shedding this light, and I think Libra will respond really well to that. Libra's about partnership, and Libra's about compromise. Now, problem with Libra though is Libra doesn't want to be the bad guy, so there can definitely be times where like Leo is taking it too far. Leo is being kind of selfish, and Libra might need to learn how to stand their ground or learn how to, you know, compromise without letting the Leo get their way, that they can easily get if the Libra just says, oh, it's okay, you know. But I think some signs can view Libra as too flighty, like they're in love one day and they're not in love the next day. What do I do with that? Leo is very passionate, okay, when in certain situations. So but I think that the way that Leo is passionate is not a way that'll turn Libra off. Where certain signs, Libra can get really turned off by how like passionate they are, because it's a different type of energy. But I think that Leo and Libra together, you know, there's some similarities there. There are some similarities. Libra wants to be liked, Leo likes to be liked. And, you know, together they're going to want that kind of, they're going to have that kind of natural understanding of giving each other that, you know, that attention. And I mean, as far as conflict goes, like I said, Leo's a fixed sign, Libra's a cardinal sign. Which is interesting to me, because some people think Libra's an air sign, but they're like, but also, you know, Libra leads in a different way. And I think people don't understand that. They lead with their personality, with their charm, with the way they bring people together. They lead with just their ability to have this conversation and bring these things out. And I think Leo will appreciate the way that Libra is able to do that, but also not take away too much attention from Leo. It's like this really good synergy that I think a lot of people don't realize, that Leo and Libra can be a good pairing in some instances. So that's my thought on the energy between the two of them. Again, look at the whole chart. All right, Scorpio and Leo. Oh, why did I just give that look? I'm sorry. I did the Scorpio video, so that gave some indications. Okay, this is a square. These are 3 signs apart and they're fixed. And while I think that Taurus and Leo, who are both fixed signs, can work, Scorpio is a water sign ruled by Mars and Pluto. So Mars and the Sun and Pluto and the Sun don't. Pluto especially. Pluto rules as one of the rules of Scorpio and the Sun. 2 different energies. Pluto is about the secrets and underneath and transformation, and Leo, the Sun is like, I'm here, this is what it is. And so Leo might not appreciate how secretively Scorpio seems to be, because the Leo wants to put everything out there, and Scorpio is very protective over who they let in their space. They're very protective over those things, so they might not understand how open Leo is, you know, how Leo just wants to put everything out on the table. And so though in some instances Scorpio can appreciate that in the Leo person, there's sometimes going to be this mistrust between the two of them. And I said in my Scorpio video that there can also be issues of ego, because Leo has a lot of pride, and that does not mean that they always are that way, but there's a lot of pride with the Leo person. Their ideas and who they are, they take it very seriously. Even though they might seem very fun, like, they don't like to be insulted. And Scorpio sometimes can have a way of saying things that might offend the Leo. And Scorpio also has a lot of pride. And Scorpio, it's hard for them to break down when they're wrong. And Leo, it's hard to. So when you have a couple and those are the things happening, that can be an issue, because who's the one that's going to back down? You know, and I'm not saying that couples shouldn't, you know, if you feel this way and you feel that way, maybe you should discuss, you should both share that. I'm not saying you should be passive all the time, but I'm saying, like, sometimes you need another sign to balance that out. You might need somebody, like, to, you know, to put the Scorpio in check. You might need someone to put the Leo in check when their ego's getting out of hand or whatever. You might need that. And I think with them, it could be the standstill, like, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. And it's more passionate because fixed fire, that energy, and fixed water, motion, and it's hard to kind of like, whereas with fixed Taurus, yes, they're fixed, but they're also practical, so they're gonna try to make you understand it. So I'm sorry if you're a Leo Scorpion, you're like, but I love them. Great, you can. I would look at the whole chart though. So when I say that, like, I would say look at the whole chart, because you would have never been able to tell me a decade or so ago that I would be dating an Aries as a Virgo, because I didn't stay away from Aries. I wasn't one of those people like, I'm not gonna date one, but I just had negative experiences. And so that's why I said you gotta look at the whole chart, because when you look at someone's whole chart, you're gonna see the compatibility that you wouldn't see necessarily just by looking at their sun sign. Okay, all right, so we just did Leo and Scorpio, Leo and Sagittarius. Okay, so this is another fire and fire. Okay. So Leo and Sagittarius form a trine, and so does Leo and Aries. So that's why I said, like, elements will recognize elements. You know, Leo will understand Sagittarius energy. They might like it. They might also feed off of it, because, you know, Leo's always thinking of how they can shine, how they can come off, and Sagittarius doesn't really care as much about what other people think about them. Sagittarius is the very intellectual fire sign. Doesn't mean all other people aren't, but Sagittarius is about wisdom and travel and philosophy and being the teacher and the messenger. That's Sagittarius. Carrying the message and carrying it and going forth with the message is Sagittarius. And so Leo and Sagittarius will vibe well when they first meet, most likely because they're on the same frequency of fire and action and doing things and getting things done. And I think Leo might do a lot to try to impress Sagittarius, because underneath of it all, Sagittarius doesn't care what other people think. And Sagittarius is the thinker. That's why they're the thinker. They're trying to figure things out. They care about the underdog. They care about, how can I take this fire and share my message? Aries is, how can I take this fire and do something with it, right? Do something for myself, do something. And Leo is like, how do I take this fire And how do I express myself? How do I express myself? That's why some Leos are very creative. It's about self-expression. And so I think Leo and Sagittarius can work in some aspects, but Leo is going to have to understand that Sagittarius energy is very much, they're in depth. They're going to be thinking and pondering about deeper things. And I'm not saying Leo can't go that way too. Leo can, for sure, especially if they have other things in their chart. But I think that Leo is going to have to understand that, like, while some other signs are easily impressed, Sagittarius is always on the move. It's mutable fire. So you're going to have to try to pin that Sagittarius down, and you're going to have to come with a really good game to get your Sagittarius person, okay? You know, they're not, it's not going to be as easy as you think at first, because you might vibe well on the same frequency. But I think that Leo and Sagittarius can work a little bit better. Let me just check my notes, because I had a blog post that I did about this stuff. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, and Leo can feel left out sometimes, but Sagittarius does. Or Aries too, both of them. I think I said that at the Aries one. But they can feel left out, like you're moving too fast. Leo doesn't move as fast as Aries and Sagittarius because it's a fixed sign, okay? You know, I think Sagittarius and Leo they both have a large circle of friends, socialization. You know, some signs might not trust other people or not want to be around a lot of other people. So I think lifestyle, they can have a similar mindset. I think they can teach each other a lot too. You know, I think that, and Sagittarius though, and I think with tempers, you know, Sagittarius sometimes can be kind of blunt and bold and out there. And Leo's more, their pride is hurt. So Leo is going to not necessarily be as forward. Oops, my battery is almost dead. So I think they can teach each other a lot. I know some people might disagree with this pairing, but I think it can work. Do I think it's the best pairing in the whole entire world? Not necessarily, okay, but I think that it works better than Leo and Aries, in my opinion, okay? Based on those things that I just said. All right, so what's next? Scorpio? I did Scorpio? Did I do it out of order? No, I did Leo and Scorpio, and then I did Sagittarius, and now I'm doing Capricorn. Okay, I got this. Okay, all right, Capricorn, Leo and Capricorn. So Capricorn is cardinal. Capricorn is about status, and Leo can be about status too. Okay, these are 5 signs apart, and for the most part, I think that, like, Earth, it's Earth, it's an earthy sign, and Leo is more expressive, and so I think that Capricorn, as long as they feel that they're moving up, they'll kind of let Leo kind of have their attention. I think that Leo sometimes has to shed a lot of light on Capricorn, because Capricorn energy can be kind of very conserved because they're trying to do something. And so they can view Leo as being too much. Like, Leo, you're not focused on this one thing that you're supposed to be focused on. You're focused on these people. You're focused on this. And Capricorn is more about their status and goal-oriented and being climbing to the top. Now, if you're talking about a power couple type of situation, could it work? It could, because Leo cares about how they look and their status, and so does Capricorn. And so in that regard, they could definitely try to make it work. I think that when you have Saturn and you have the Sun, though, you have 2 different energies, because Capricorn is ruled by the Sun. I mean, Capricorn is ruled by the Saturn, and Saturn is harsh lessons, or Saturn is about cycles, but Saturn is also very disciplined. And when you have Leo, Leo can be very disciplined as well, more so than the other 2 fire signs, because it's fixed, it's not as impulsive. But when you think of Capricorn and Leo, you know, what you're going to have, though, is, like, there's not a lot that they're going to have in common, except, like, really small things. So they're going to really have to try to make it work. They're going to have to try to find ways that what they can create together, because naturally Leo and Capricorn, besides status, aren't really going to, and the status is different. Leo wants to be appreciated for who they are and what they, you know, in Capricorn, it's like public reputation and climbing to the top. So there's a difference there. It's a difference, and Capricorn can be kind of methodical and strategic and you know, secretive, and Leo has everything out in the open. So Leo can view Capricorn as not open enough, and that can cause issues in a relationship when Leo feels like, you're not open enough, you're not giving me enough love and appreciation. So I think, though, you know, they'll definitely, there's a lot of differences. They're 5 sides apart. There's a lot of differences with Leo and Capricorn. So I think that you would just have to see, like, what else in the chart, where do they have things in common? All right, what's next? All right, so after Capricorn, I love the Capricorns, we have Aquarius. Okay. All right, so Aquarius. Leo and Aquarius. So Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs. And opposite signs have things in common. even though on the surface it doesn't look like they do. And like, of all the opposite signs, it's very hard for me to see what Leo and Aquarius have in common. I'm dead serious. Like, it's hard for me to see what they have in common. But they're compatible even though they don't look like they are on the surface, because, all right, what do they have in common? Leo wants to express themselves, express self-expression, putting things out there. Aquarius is very different, where Aquarius is caring about the collective and the group, and how can I progress society, and they're ruled by Uranus and Saturn. But Uranus, you know, if you think about Uranus and just like sporadic, and what can I do, well, how can I move things forward, in the sun, how can I shed light? So in an interesting way, Aquarius and Leo are both about shedding light on things, which is why Aquarius sometimes can come across as like, some people might be like, Aquarius is kind of a know-it-all. Aquarius is always telling me how something is, because Aquarius is trying to shed light on the situation. Aquarius is trying to put things out there in order for you to think forward about something, whereas Leo was ruled by the sun, how to move that, push that forward. So Aquarius and Leo are a good match, even though they don't seem like they are, because they are opposite signs, and there are going to be aspects of each other that they understand. And Aquarius is very unique and different, and that Leo can appreciate that, because Leo, I don't think Leo is judgmental. I don't think Leo is that judgmental, in my opinion. I think Leo, yes, they can judge people sometimes. I think they can, of course, any sign can. But I think that Aquarius is very quirky and different. And for some Leos, like, that's something that they like or they appreciate. Okay, because remember, they're trying to include everybody. They're generous. They're trying to, you know, they shed a lot of energy, you know, in regards to like how to get people together. And Aquarius is about the groups, the collective, humanitarianism. How can I solve or help the problems in the society? How can I do that? And they're very logical. And with Leo, they're very passionate, and that can help the Aquarius. Okay, the Aquarius that sometimes can be so focused on what they're doing and their mindset and their logic, and the Saturn gives them this very serious kind of disposition, but Leo brings out the fun in them. Leo brings out the fun in their opposite sign, where their opposite sign is more like, okay. And what Aquarius can bring is the logic. Aquarius can bring the mindset to Leo. They can complement each other, I think, really well in a partnership. Okay? All right, and lastly, Pisces. Leo and Pisces. All right, so Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is dreamy, and Neptune is about compassion, and Neptune is about deep desires and wishes and things like that. And, you know, it's a little bit deeper. It's a deeper understanding. It's a deeper type of sign. Whereas, you know, I think as far as I think passion-wise, Libra and Pisces will probably have an attraction to each other. I think that's definitely very possible. I think that as far as compatibility goes, you know, Pisces wants to, they both can be very creative, or both be very generous, passionate people, and I think that they can draw each other draw them together. And Pisces, you know, Pisces acceptance of other people, I think, is pretty high. I think Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It better accept everybody, right? It's the last sign of the zodiac. It is the most, they say, spiritually evolved. And so I think that while some people could view Leo as, you know, oh, Leo is self-involved, Leo is egotistical, Pisces tries to understand that, and Pisces will let that go if they see other attributes in Leo that they like. And I think where it can be problematic, though, is like Pisces wants pure love, and they don't want just love just in the sake of love. So there's a deeper need for Pisces. Pisces energy is very evolved, and Pisces energy can be very, very much like concentrated in like this need to feel this emotional connection. And if Leo ignores the needs of Pisces, so understand that deeper need, not just saying, oh, they're sensitive, they're nice, I'm just going to be with them, but understand that deeper need, I think it can be an issue, because Pisces is not about the ego, and some Pisces can be turned off from that. They can be completely turned off from the Leo. They can view the Leo, and when I say that, I said like every energy is going to view other energy differently. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I'm not saying all Leos are egotistical, but a sign and energy can view it as that way. You see what I'm saying? So I think that for Leo and Pisces, I think there's a possibility there. I think though they might work really well as friends though, because I think Leo works really well with people that bring out that have the same lifestyle as them. And by lifestyle and interest, because Leo is the sun. So Leos are always going to, their lifestyle is always going to be really important to them because they are ruled by the sun, and that's how they express themselves in their life and their exertion, and that's what they do. And I feel that fire signs especially, it's important for everybody to have someone that complements their lifestyle, but I think for fire signs that's very important because these are extroverts, and so there has to be some type of match energetically there. And this is a water sign, this is a fire sign, this is mutable water, and this is a fixed fire. Okay, so though Pisces can kind of go either way, you know, Pisces can go in either direction. I think that, you know, I think Leo and Pisces have a lot in common in regards to like creativity. You know, they can be very Pisces. I know a lot of Pisces, they can draw, they're poetic, they're songwriters, they're creative in some way. Leo can be the same way, but I don't know if that's always the thing that can tie a relationship together, how creative you are. I think there are other traits and attributes that might make a couple more likely to get along. Again, as I keep saying, you should look at the whole entire chart. All right, but that's my breakdown of compatibility relationship wise with Leo energy. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Also be sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. Thank you.